If you haven't subscribed already, ring that bell to get notified when new movies are posted. Hey, Chris Young here from HomeKit Geek. And again, if you want to pick one of these up, definitely check in the video detail link below. There's an Amazon affiliates link in there. Today, we're talking about the Ember Smart Mug, of which I have the copper edition. So this is, I got to be honest, this is something that when I first saw it, I went, it's kind of expensive. I don't know if I'll really use it that much. Wow, could I not have been more wrong? So what is it? It is a heated mug. So essentially, it's got a heater built into the cup itself. It's got a Bluetooth connection off to your phone, and it allows your phone to say, hey, what am I drinking, and what is my desired temperature? So if you want that at 57, 59, maybe a little bit hotter, 64, 65, whatever, the cup will keep whatever you're drinking at the temperature you want it to be for an hour or two at least. I haven't gotten much past that, to be honest. So the other thing that the Ember does, which is really cool for those of us who are just trying to get a little bit healthier, is there is an Apple HealthKit integration, or at least I think of it more as a start to a HealthKit integration. They do have the ability to track caffeine, which we'll take a look at, but I think they could be doing more, right? So we'll kind of look at that in the app, and more than anything, it's really, really shiny. Again, I don't know if I would have bought this for myself, but now that I actually have one, I got this for my birthday for my kids. Wow, I'm using it every single day, and I have not had that moment where you reach over to grab your coffee or your tea, and you suddenly realize that you want to spit it all out because it's freezing cold. Doesn't happen anymore. That just by itself is worth the price of admission. So let's go through the unboxing here. You can see it is a beautiful mug. This is the copper edition, so this is going to be a little bit more expensive. But again, it's really shiny, and I like that. I'm not going to front. So it is designed for your lifestyle. All that good stuff on the box. And essentially, this is going to be a well-packed box for a smaller mug, but these are ceramic mugs, or at least most of the time they are. So you do really want to make sure that they are taking care of the packaging to make sure that this doesn't jostle around and doesn't get broken, because if you're going to spend $100 plus on a mug, you kind of want it to get there in one piece, and they have definitely succeeded in that. So eventually, once you get past the outer seal and the inner seal, this is what you get into, which is the mug itself, and it is really, really shiny. I almost don't want to touch it because I'm going to get fingerprints on it, is what I feel like. Honestly, that didn't happen. So it is still a nice and shiny and new after a couple weeks of use. So when we go into the box here, we got to really unpack it, and this thing is packed in here tight. So that you're not going to break it, right? You get the Ember, you get some stickers here, some instructions, those kinds of things. You get the plug itself. Again, you're going to have to plug this. This is going to be charged. You've got the two little pins there on here. It does very clearly say dry it well, right? So I have not tempted fate on that one. I have made sure that when I wash my cup, I dry it well. I make sure the bottom there is very well dried before I plug it in, or more accurately, you don't really plug it in. You just put it on top of the saucer, and it gets electricity that way. It gets its battery charged, and you're good to go. Right, so you can see those little rings there. They're going to match up with the two pins on the saucer, and essentially you just place it on exactly like you think it should be, and you're going to be fine. Right, again, water can cause damage to the coaster, so dry your mug before placing it there. Right, truth in advertising. I'm assuming that's going to be true. Don't try that at home. So we've got the instructions here, the stickers, to set up your Ember, right? Share your story. They're pretty big on social media, so you can find them on Instagram, Facebook, the whole bit. Ember is hand wash only. Do not put this in the dishwasher, right? You will have made a very unfortunate mistake if you do that. I don't think they would survive. I'm not going to test that theory, right? Just wash it by hand. Here we go. We take the adapter, we simply plug it into the bottom there, and that's it. That's all that you have to do. We'll take care of that last piece of little plastic because we want this shiny coaster to really shine around the office. Again, this thing is shiny. I don't really think the video is doing it justice here, but it's really, really a beautiful piece. Let's go over to setting up the app now. I'm doing this on my my iPhone, so we're not going to get the full screen motion. And select our device. Obviously, we have the mug. Okay, cool. Let's gonna do that. Power it on. So we're gonna push the button on the bottom. Easy enough. Hold the power button for 7 seconds until the LED blinks yellow. Yeah, that was no problem at all. Intuitive technology. It only needs to be turned on once, and after that, it sleeps when you're not using it. Absolutely true. I have not had to turn this on since I did that the first time and paired this. And then we search for the mug if it's within range. So again, you just have to be within range. Make sure Bluetooth is turned on your phone. So this may take a couple of seconds. There, we found it. Would you like to pair this with your iPhone? Well, of course I would. So I'm going to click on that pair button. So go to that. We found it. It's trying to connect. I actually hit this unable to connect a couple of times. I had to go back through this, but eventually it did connect, as you can see. We're going to put in a username and password to sign up for an Ember account, or of course you could use Google Plus or Facebook. I will just use an email, and then we have, of course, have to agree to the terms of service, keep me up to date. So if you want to get emails from Ember, that's up to you. You get to personalize your mug. So there is, at the bottom of the mug, at the front of it, there is a little LED, and you can select whatever color you want for your own particular mug, so you can kind of tell the difference between yours and your partners, your roommates, your kids, parents, whatever, right? You do have the privacy policy here. This was a little non-intuitive to me. It looked like I'm looking for an accept button, but there isn't one. You just scroll through the whole thing, and eventually you figure out you just have to click on that X. So now I'm into the device itself. Select which device you want to control, so we can kind of scroll up or down. Would like to let you know when your hot beverages have reached, so notifications, yes. Of course, we're going to allow it to do notifications. We have the Ember X Health. So this is the HealthKit integration piece, and this will allow it. It doesn't do it quite totally automatically, but it allows it to integrate with your Apple HealthKit and track, how many cups of coffee, and by tracking how many cups of coffee, how much caffeine intake you have. And one of the things that's kind of cool is they are able to take that and look at things like heart rate data, sleep data, and then you can start to do some correlations and some tracking on, hey, I had a coffee at 6 o'clock at night and I didn't sleep well that night. Well, it's kind of common sense, but at least you're going to have the data to prove that now. So I will say I'm not quite sure why Ember wants to write to the heart data, heart rate data. That's one I'm still a little confused by. We'll put it that way. But other than that, we're going to go in here, Ember Health X. We're going to go to the Ember Insights, and go caffeine intake versus heart rate, caffeine intake versus sleep. And as you can see from the two images, it starts to populate that stuff and gives you an idea of how your caffeine intake, whether you're drinking tea or drinking coffee, is going to compare to your sleep and heart rate. Again, kind of cool, right? If you're into that quantified self movement and you want to understand how your habits are affecting your life, that's actually, I think, a useful thing. So right now we're going through the update, or more accurately, we're going to go through the updates. We're going to go to firmware available 308.1 down here in the settings. We're going to click into that, and then we're going to be able to actually start the update, which again, just like HomeKit, smart home devices, it always makes me feel better when I get a new device and there is a firmware, warm, fresh out of the oven waiting for me, right? It tells me that I haven't just thrown my money away a little bit. It tells me that the whoever is providing, the manufacturer, the vendor, is taking care of this and continuing to innovate on top of their hardware platform, which most of the stuff is all about software anyways, right? So that's really important to me. So this was a bit of a longer process. So I'm just going to skip to the end of this, and you will see there, reconnecting, 100%. All that is good. Ember and phone battery must be at least 20% charged. Again, do that before you start. Success, your firmware is now up to date. Woohoo! So now that we've got through all the setup, let's go through the user experience a little bit, right? So there's some things I like about this, some things that I wish I had more capabilities, right? We've got temperature presets, so they give you what they feel is a really good temperature for things like latte or different teas, right? Cinnamon matcha latte, golden milk. We've got different recipes in here. That's kind of cool. It's very similar to something like the June oven, right? You have the ability to create your own if you want, and create your own recipes, if you will, right? But that's limited. So if I want to create a new preset, it's going to ask me what type of drink do I want? Well, my choices are coffee or tea. Oh, what if I don't want either one of those? What if I want hot lemon water? What if I want a hot chocolate, for instance, right? Those aren't options in here, right? So I don't have those capabilities. If I go into tea, I have green tea, I have black tea. What is my preferred temperature? So there are some things in here that I would have liked to have had seen more capabilities around. Right, I'll just be honest right that we can adjust your drink level. The drink level here, you may not think it is that important, but this is going to be used to calculate caffeine intake, right? So again, depending on what kind of tea you're drinking, it may have lower or higher caffeine amounts. Like matcha tea is supposed to have more caffeine than regular green tea. So if I'm drinking matcha, I might have wanted to be able to say, hey, it's got a little more caffeine, right? So it's good that Ember has taken it upon themselves to kind of populate the data in the background so that we don't have to deal with it. But I would have liked a little more control, right? So once I have that up there at the top, you can see that the heart flashing there. Once I click on that button, that's when you're going to end your device or end your drinking, right? So end the event. So once we end the event, it's did you actually drink the whole thing? And it will calculate and put your caffeine intake into Apple HealthKit. So you can also see here that the temperature is kind of going down. I have my matcha tea set for 59 degrees, but my water just came out of the iKettle 3. All right, I'll put a link to that video in here as well. And it's hot water, so I want to wait until this cools down. So again, this is kind of cool that you will even get a notification on your phone when it reaches the appropriate temperature. So here we are. You can see, look at that. Your perfect temperature of 59 degrees has been reached. Enjoy. You get a notification on your phone as well. You can end the event and bam, caffeine goes into your HealthKit if you want. And that's a wrap, guys. So what do I think? The Ember Smart Mug, I love it. Let's be honest. I think you guys can tell I'm surprised that I am digging this as much as I am. It's not inexpensive. You know, you're talking $100 plus for one of these mugs. The travel mug is even more expensive. But the incremental addition to the quality of life, if you will, right? It's nice to be able to grab my tea and not have to worry whether or not I'm going to be spitting out some, lukewarm, muddy water, right? Come on, let's be honest, right? I think they could do more with this, though. The Apple HealthKit integration is a really good start. I really like the fact that they're tracking caffeine. That's a big deal, right? How much you're drinking, when you're drinking it, how does that affect the rest of your life, your sleep, your heart, all those kinds of things. I think that's really cool, but I think they could do more here. I think they could be tracking, maybe calories, like how much calories are you actually taking in with a latte, right? They could be tracking sugar content. How many packs of sugar did you put in that thing? How much raw sugar are you putting into your body? These things that are starting to become known is more and more important to be starting to track. So I think they've got a really cool foundation here. They've got a great platform, and I'm hoping they extend it and start to do more with it. Yeah, there's a balance with how easy do you want to make it for a customer to just to have a cup of coffee, right? We don't want having a cup of coffee or a cup of tea to become a science project. But those capabilities, for those of us who would like them, would be really cool to see. What do you guys think? Yay, nay? Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know in the comments below. If I missed any questions, let me know about that as well. Again, likes are always appreciated. Subscribe if you haven't. And if you want to learn how to make your house a little bit smarter using Apple HomeKit, do me a favor, check in the video details below. There is a coupon code to my Udemy class. Thanks.